Hello and welcome from Australia for round 4 of the VBTCR Championship. This week we head to a circuit born in 1964 during the heyday for Australian motorsport after Jack Brabham won the F1 Championship in 59 and 60. It was also a period where world-class names such as Clark, Hill, Stewart and Surtees competed regularly down under in the Tasman Series. We sadly had to say goodbye to the circuit in 2010 after it was sold to the New South Wales government for housing in 2007. However, due to the magic of sim racing, we were able to still race here. I am Tim Cox, coming to you from the VBTCR Broadcast Centre with Shane Dunn alongside me on production. Last time out, we visited Silverstone with Flarton attaining pole and winning race 1 to make it 2 victories for the season. Race 2 had a different flavour, with McCabe taking victory and in the process smashing his highest race finish of 11th for the season. That was back at round 1 in Donington. As you see from the championship, with 5 different winners from 6 races so far this season, things are really hotting up, with Flarton leading the field, with Mould not too far behind. Don't discredit a shirt. Mark McCabe, well, what can we say about him? Taking a victory at Silverstone last time out, he's brought himself up to 11th. Neil Butler, he's moved himself up to 18th. He's on 130 points and he was the winner in race 2 at round 1 in Donington. Freddie Hewitt, he's 24th, another name to watch out for. He's been helped out with his points haul thanks to round 2 at Brands Hatch, where he took the victory in the second race there. It's so close near the end of the table. Things can change so quickly. And let's just take you through your grid for race 1. It's Flarton on pole with his 3rd pole of the season. He's got Harris alongside for company with Gilman and a shirt on the 2nd row. Sabula and Bowl on the 3rd row with Myers and Hagen on the 4th row. Jack Johnson and Christopher Smith round out your top 10 with Scott Malcolm and Dan Mould in 12th. Disappointed with that one. He's averaged about 4th place in qualifying so far this season. Jones and Denyer alongside each other company with Seal and Dunn. Stevenson and Crowther in 17th and 18th. McCabe and Cotton round out your top 20. Geraghty and Kent are in 21st and 22nd with Birch 23rd with Thornton for company. Then it was McGarrity, Martin, Holland, Johnson, Holloway, Chris Ems rounding up top 30 with Jack Newell rounding out your field here at Oran Park. It's a circuit that's seen quite a few changes over the years. It used to originally be a gravel trap. But let's get ready and they're away here for race 1. And it's a great start by Flarton, with Harris just tucking in front of Gilman there as they head down to the first corner. They come hard onto the brakes. Corners really seem to tighten up, and Mould already up a position into 10th. It looks like everyone's got away relatively cleanly here through the first couple of corners. As we come now down into Shell Corner. You see it going side by side in the background there. There's Myers and Hagen, I think that is side by side. For Hagen having to settle for that 9th place as we come over the figure of 8 across Yokohama Bridge. And already halfway round 1 lap here at Oran Park. Mould on the attack, looking to climb back up for the order after that poor qualifying by his own standards. As they come through O'Brien, Aluminium Dogleg. And then down to this tricky last corner where the car just wants to understeer, push you out into that wall that's right on the corner exit. And after the first lap, Flarton leads from Harris with Gilman in 3rd. Ashert is 4th, Sabula 5th, Boll 6th. Johns, Myers, Hagen and Mould rounding out your top 10. So they come down now to Shell Corner for the 2nd time, and Flarton in a commanding position, half a second clear. But Shane Dunn just trying to defend there and not able to from Seal, who's managed to get himself up into 15th place. There's a little bit of a gap ahead to Smith. As we see Jack Johns here. He's at the front of this little train with Sabula, Myers and Hagen tucked up behind. And they're starting to drop off that top 5 group. And they need to work together as we just look back from Sabula, and that's how close Jessica Myers currently is. That is what 2/10 looks around Oran Park. As they come through O'Brien. And then through Recaro, the last corner. Everyone making it through cleanly so far. As Harris sets the fastest lap of the race of 1:11.2. As the fuel starts to burn off, those times will start to come down more and more. Hagen needs to get a move done over. Myers needs to be really careful with Mould right behind him. We know about his pedigree in this championship. As Myers is just losing out to Hagen there. Hagen just into 8th. And will it be to how can Myers hold on to that place with Mould currently swarming all over the back of her as they come across the bridge. Head down through Foster's dip in towards Momo Corner. What can Scott Malcolm do? He's only 6/10 behind Mould. They'd be desperate to catch up onto this train, and he's bringing another gaggle of cars with Denyer and Jones not far behind them. Flarton coming round to complete another lap. First race, it's 20 minutes. Really in a commanding pace, as we've just got Martin there, one of the guys who's taken to the pits. So we see us just setting a new fastest lap there. Flarton needs to be careful with how he manages this traffic. He's coming up to the back of Thornton. Oh no, we've got a spinner. That's Sabula. I think he's just come off there and he's fallen down the order massively from that. Just a large grid, and this is down into effectively it's turn 2. And oh wow, had to take evasive action. Well held. He's lost loads of places in the process. This driver will be ruining that one. Right now, Jack Johns is having the pressure turned up on him. With Hagen right behind Myers and Mould not far behind in this little train of 4. Last thing Mould is going to be wanting is Malcolm to catch up with that little group behind him as well. So they come out onto the start-finish straight. Chance to slipstream and really tuck up behind one another as we ride on board with Hagen. Got a back marker to the left. He's going to jinx to the right. Try and send it around the outside, and there's contact there. They bang doors, oh no, and they both head off, and well held there from Myers. Managing to get through, and John survives somehow. But Myers, where she had to back out of it, has allowed Mould to come onto the attack. Down into shallow, and that's going to get Mould up into 7th place. Been aided by the spins of Sabula and Hagen. Just look back from Mould. Myers will be wanting to come along for the ride with Mould. So they look to mount a challenge to Johns. He's currently in 6th place. So we've got changing for the lead there, between Harris and Flarton. But just looking at this battle right now, Peter Jones is using a bit of time to bend Denyer ahead. He's in 11th. And Smith and the recovering Sabula looking to really close up and get past him. See Mould really closing up onto the back of Johns. That's another 10th. The Brit has managed to take out of Johns this time around. Myers is so close as she tries to launch an attack. She takes to the grass and somehow, no! There's contact between her and Mould. Down into turn 2. Let's take a little look of exactly how it unfolded. Just lost the rear under braking, did Myers. Steer to the inside, and by that stage she was a passenger and Mould couldn't do anything about it. They both made contact, and that has cost them so dearly. Let's take a look at what happened to Malcolm. That's from his point of view. He got a front row seat to the action. Jack John surely looking in his mirrors, you can see him ahead there, will be breathing a sigh of relief, knowing that the threat from Mould and Myers has dropped off. But out at the front, Flarton still leads from Harris with a cert Gilman ball. Johns, Malcolm, Hagen, Denyer and Jones rounding out your top 10 with 7 minutes completed. This top 5 is really pulling away from Johns in 6th place. You can see on the track map on the right hand side of your screen right now, just visually what the gap looks like. Now with a clear track ahead, quite a way before they hit any back markers. This is prime time for Flarton to set down some solid laps. Possibly even work with Harris to really pull away from Cert, who's in 3rd currently and holding on to that last place on the podium. As they come down through Foster's dip. This tricky left-hander that's really Cambridge able to pull the car around. Momo fly across the chicane here. It is O'Brien, aluminium dongleg. Really long corner name, that one. So we're going wide, using all of the track, getting up close to, as you dare, to the wall on the right hand side. It's right on board with Harris. Maybe a little bit too far back to mount an attack this time around. Oh, and Flarton is getting a bit twitchy there on the entry into Coca-Cola Corner. Just heading further down the field. There's Jones looking to mount an attack on Sabula. Losing a place there. Sabula really trying to recover. It's the pole. After the earlier incident, Jones is fighting back. He's not letting him have it very easily at all. So we see Jones and Seal there battling it out, and this is the trouble that you have around this circuit as Seal sneaks his way, finds the inside line. He's going to have the inside for the next couple of corners, and that is the move done. I was about to say, the trouble is around this track, with it being so tight and such a large field, 30 cars, one mistake, or even mounting attack, and if you don't get the move done, you can lose so many places. So we look back from Smith. You can see how Seal was really managed to get the hammer down, close up onto the back of him. Myers, another driver looking to recover, currently in 15th. See her just in the back of this train right now. Should be hoping that someone else makes a bit of a mistake, and quite a few drivers taking a bit of grass in the entry there. Ever so slightly. So we see Seal. What can he do in terms of closing up the gap ahead of him? It's Jones. So series organiser Shane Dunn there. Hoping to try and get the move done. But just head back out to the lead, and these guys are starting to really open up a gap over Assert behind them in 3rd. In fact, Flarton managing to pull a bit of a gap over Harris. Gap extending by around about 2 tenths over the course of the last lap. Matching each other for lap times. As we see Christopher Smith, what can he do? Oh, just leaving the door open a little bit there for Shane Dunn. Looking to sneak it up the inside into Recaro. Not able to get it done. It's going to be hooked up in the slipstream. As we see Myers just moving to the inside there, trying to make Dunn look in his mirrors. Trying to distract the Brit. Force him into making a mistake. He's having to look behind him at what Myers is doing, and also ahead of him of what Smith's doing, where he's trying to get past him as well. And Myers, oh no, contact there from Myers, and just tapping the rear 3/4 panel of Dunn. Dunn, you can see, is not happy by the flash of the lights there. Not impressed by Myers' move. Heading back up, and Jack Johns is really starting to drop off the group in front of him. That gap is now 8 seconds. The group behind him, nobody really seems to have an answer right now. Happy to almost sit behind. As we see Christopher Smith trying to find his way through. As they all both head across, trying to cover each other off. Moving across to the left-hand side of the track there. The fight to get the inside line. And this looks like Seal has had to concede the place there. Where he had Smith up the inside. And that's got Smith up into 12th place. However, with 8 minutes left, you get the feeling that everything is not over yet. As you see, Dunn's dropped a few places. He's tumbling down the order. Something's happened to him. He's down to 19th. Really some sort of an issue there. What can Luminous Racing drive at Hagen? He's got Malcolm ahead of him. Scott for Madsen Mortal. They need to be careful where these guys are battling because Jack Johns is managing to pull out a bit of a gap over them. See, aided by Myers and Mold dropping out earlier on, which gave him that bit of breathing space. But it's all happening up at the front as Harris is as close as he's ever been. He's going to have the work to do round the outside in to Shell Corner. Not able to get the move done this time. But Harris knows that the clock is ticking down. Time is running out for the Englishman. So they come across Yokohama Bridge and head down to Foster's Dip. Could we see a move out on to the start-finish straight? If Harris wants to get that move done, he's going to need to be a bit closer to Flarton than this. So it's all going to be who gets the best exit off of Recaro. What can Harris do? And if anything, Flarton just pulling away ever so slightly as they skim the wall on corner exit. Look back from Flarton right now. Here comes Harris, but as I said, he's not close enough to get a move done down into the sweeper, and then this tight left-hander that is Coca-Cola Corner. Just right on board with Harris now. See where he's a lot stronger through this section compared to Flarton. Moving left and right, trying to set him up a move. So we get a switchback or just find his way, just find that little bit of a gap to head up the inside to one of the corners. As Myers has got up past Seal for 13th place further down the field. These guys are about 7 seconds behind Dunn and McGarity. We're up ahead of them. Only a couple of laps down. As we see further down the field, the battle for 9th place between Denya and Sabula. Sabula trying to recover. Can he find where he passed the Ignium Motorsport Spark driver? Denya is very strong in the TCR. Two Ignium teams are very strong here. You feel it's going to take something magical from Sabula to find his way past Denya. Something's happened to his shirt. He's lost a couple of places behind Gilman and Ball, but sticking with Malcolm right now. As we see Hagen just trying to get the inside. Can this be the move? No. Not able to carry enough momentum through Coca-Cola. But this is all playing into Johns' hand, and he's able to keep that constant gap. He's looked a bit under threat for the early part of the race. I'll be absolutely loving seeing these guys battling out behind him. But what can Denya do? Can he close up? Can he become part of this battle? Talking of battles, as we head back to the front, and they're really starting to close up onto that lap traffic. Can they play a part in the story for victory here today? Or can it be Flarton taking his 3rd victory for the season in race 1 here at Oran Park? Harris just doesn't seem to quite have the answer. He seems to be getting close, but just not in the right parts of the circuit. Absolute monster through the figure of 8 section. They're just coming through now. As we take the right-hander. Head across Yokohama Bridge. Harris just seems to be tucked up behind, but just can't get that bit close enough. As we talk of getting close enough. This group is starting to bunch up, but also close up onto Johns. Battle for 6th place. You get the feeling it's going to come down to the final corner. As we head back up to the front, and they're up onto the lap traffic. There you go. McGarity just moving to the left-hand side, just getting well out of the way. You can see these two battling for the lead coming through. Moves out of the way. As we see us, drivers just coming out of the pits. Johnston there, keeping out of the way. 2 minutes left to go here in race 1. Harris needs to do something now. He is fast running out of time. He's only going to have another lap left, maybe 2 if they're lucky, depending on when they cross the line. Versus the timing, jeez. She wished to get a move done, but Sabula really closing up onto the back of Denya now. So Peter Jones starting to come up onto the back of this group. Very tricky overtaking track, not that we've been short of them here at Oran Park, due to the tight, twisty nature of the track. As we look back from Denya, as you see Sabula seems to just find his way past. It's a similar story to what we've got going out up front. T. Flaherty and Harris. It's a shirt. He's managed to get past Bowl. That's got him up into 4th place. Dutch driver getting past his teammate Impulse Racing. Clearly a bit of team orders coming into play there. Which is looking to maintain his championship aspirations. He's run out of time really to think about catching up onto the back of Gilman. As we head back to our lead. Last few corners here in race 1. What can Harris do? He's only really probably got the one opportunity into Recaro. You can see using all of the track, just getting onto the dirt a little bit, kicking it up there on corner exit. Champion curb. But it looks like Flarton, he's going to take the checkered flag. He comes out through Recaro. And your winner for race 1 is Flarton. Harris comes home 2nd. Only half a second behind in the end. As we see Gilman and Ball. He's managed to get past, and clearly the 3 Impulse Racing drivers working together there to allow a cert through. Hagen comes home in 8th place, and that little group all remaining as they were as Jack Johns holds on to 6th place. And here are your classified results for race 1. It's Flarton taking his 3rd victory for the season. Damien Harris finishes in 2nd with the cert, taking that last place on the podium. We have team orders coming into place there between the Impulse Racing team with Gilman and Boll finishing 4th and 5th. It's Jack Johns holding on to 6th place for Pulse Esports with Malcolm, Denya and Sabula rounding out your top 10. Sabula's going to be getting that one obviously after that earlier incident. Jones, Smith, Jessica Myers is 13th with Seal, Crowther, Kent, McCabe, Birch, Newell and Holland rounding out top 20. Then is Garrity for Insignia. Dunn, Mould finishing well down, but that's going to help him come into race 2 with a full reverse grid. Chris M's 24th, Thornton 25th, Garrity 26th with 2 laps down. Cotton behind him. As we head now, a little bit of a break between the 2 races. Who's going to come out victorious? You've got to really think about it with Flarton. He's going to be starting right at the back of the grid. What can he do to scythe his way through the field? But surely your favourite. It's got to be Dan Mould. Obviously starting nearer the front due to that earlier incident. Came home in 23rd in the end. Also, a few other drivers to look out for will be Dunn, starting near the front. You see strong performances so far from him this season. Was from Cottam as well. But let's get ready. Let's find out what's going to happen in race 2. We've got Thornton on pole as we head out, but it's an absolutely blinding start just behind there. I think it was McGarrity getting away as they head behind the pits there. We head down to turn 1, and Stevenson has managed to get away for Ignium. McGarrity up into second place. Oh no, we've got carnage. Drivers off. Lots of drivers. Oh no, and there's contact between them all. There's bumpers and bits of bodywork flying everywhere. Down into turn 2 there. As we see Chris Ems just managing to squeeze his way some way past McGarrity, who now Mould is on the attack after a blinding start. He's already up to 4th place. Is the Brit. So everything starts to settle down, and let's just take a look at what happened as he got onto the gravel there, and that's what kicked off all the action of everyone having to take evasive action to escape. It's right on board with Flarton, race 1 winner. Oh, gets into the door there. One of the Ignium guys, I think that was. Oh, just having to pick his way through out of the carnage. It's like a war zone there, down at turn 2. It's going to really shake things up. But your order at the end of lap 1 is Stevenson from Ems, Mould is 3rd, Garrity's 4th, Dunn is 5th, McGarrity 6th, Neil 7th. With Birch McCabe, a race winner this season, with Johns up into 10th place after that 6th place finish in race 1. As we see Dunn just getting past McGarrity there. That has got him up into 4th place. What can he do to chase down the mighty Dan Mould in 3rd for Ignium? So we see Hagen just trying to find his way past Jack Johns. Can he pick his pocket? Just moving left and right, trying to unsettle the Brit. Scandinavian desperate to find his way past, but Neil Stevenson for Ignium Motorsport Spark is taking a commanding lead over Ems, nearly a second clear already. As they come around the last corner now. What can he do to get this done? A long way to go. We've seen anything can happen, anything will happen in the VBTCR Championship. It's James Birch locked in the middle of that gaggle of cars. It starts off at Alfie McGarrity in 6th and all the way down, realistically, to Morgan Hagen 11th. Oh no! That's Stevenson! From the lead, Neil Stevenson! There's another car off with him there. Looking back now. Oh no, no, no! Stevenson, an innocent bystander there. And wiped out from the lead. So we see Jack Johns really getting in the door of Mark McCabe there. And Morgan Hagen, this is his chance. What can Hagen do? He knows Johns is going to be slow up the hill and across the Yokohama Bridge. This is his chance to pounce as we look back towards him now from the back of Jack Johns' Audi RS3 TCR. And Johns looking a little bit unsettled as we see Newell just getting a bit wide there, and that's going to bring him into that little battle. What can McGarrity do? As they head out to complete another lap. And Dan Mould is in charge. He is out in front right now. As he looks to take a victory here in race 2. And sure, he's on a driver on the move against Scott Malcolm. He's going to head up the inside into turn 1 and follow it through into turn 2. That's got himself up to 18th place. Oh no, that's Crowther, I think, there. Off in the down into turn 2. Let's see what happened. Oh, it was unforced. Just got it onto the gravel. And that unsettled the rear and sent him round. Managed to keep it out of the barrier. Derek Crowther losing an absolute ton of places there. As we head back to this battle for 4th place. A bit of a gap between 1st, 2nd and 3rd. And then dropping down to this battle, but Jack Johns looking incredibly racy right now. That's not a normal place you overtake there, Johns. He needs to be careful because he's going to allow Hagen through if he's not careful. And we can see Myers making a move in the background there. They're all trying to go 2 by 2 through the last corner, and they somehow all emerge out of it safely. So they all fan out across the track and they head across the start-finish line. Alfie McGarity is going to be the happiest one of this bunch. Able to get some space between them, and somehow they all seem to emerge pretty much how they were despite all that action, all that chaos through the last corner. Here comes Johns looking to head up the inside of Null, who looks like he might even lose another place to Hagen, who's coming hard onto the brakes. Can he also get up the inside? And Null, in the space of 2 corners, has lost 2 places to Johns and Hagen. Hagen striking and following Johns through, while Newell was vulnerable on the outside. And now Myers is queuing up to have a go at Newell. What can she do? As they come through Momo now. But out in front, 1.8 seconds clear of Dunn in 2nd place. It's Dan Mould who will be relieved to have come through all of that unscathed. You see Dunn setting personal best there. Of course, the track getting more and more rubbered in as we continue through today's proceedings. We'll see some absolute flying laps later in race 2. As the fuel burns off and the track is at its maximum state. But John's going round the outside there, and he needs to be careful because he bangs doors with Hagen there, who's now, this is going to gift him a chance after spending so long looking at the back of Johns in race 1. He's going to get the move done as John's just having to settle and tuck back in behind Hagen, who's got himself up into 5th place. But here comes Johns, he's fighting back and nicks the place back from Hagen. And now Myers is looking to have a go. What could she do? Could she squeeze her way past? Wish she had to take that shallower line. That allowed Newell to get the better run there. Oh, while this is happening, this is allowing Blurch and Flarton to catch up. Oh, was hitting, I think that was Birch there, just hitting the wall on corner exit. That's going to be his wing mirror gone. Right now, McGarity and Johnson coming side by side. Johnson's going to have the inside line on the run. That's Coca-Cola. Oh no, McGarity's from wide. No! From a decent position. That car is surely going to have to be towed after a big collision with the barrier down at Coca-Cola. And this has allowed Johns to comfortably have 4th place, with Hagen tucked up behind. And Myers, Birch and Flarton is coming under a bit of pressure from Gilman and Ball right now in 10th, 11th. Don't discredit Mark McCabe in 12th. He's taken a race victory this season. A race 2 victory, funnily enough. He's got skin in this game, this championship. Interesting to see what the Scot can do. Flarton absolutely harassing Birch as he makes a lunge up the inside. There's contact. He taps him. That sends Birch flying into the wall and just about manages to recover. Let's take a look. Flarton's getting desperate. Oh, onto the grass. Locks up. Nothing can do to try and pull out of the move. As we head further down the field, Michael Steele has got Kent and Neil Stevenson behind him. They're all on the lights as they can see as a back marker coming out of the pits there. Neil Stevenson was a commanding position early on, now finds himself all the way down the field. We see Sabula just losing out to Smith there. Just trying to get the switch back on him. He's not going to be able to get it this time around as they come across the Yokohama Bridge. Sabula needs to think about getting this move done. He can see Malcolm pulling away ahead of them. As we come up to half race distance, drivers need to start thinking about moves right now. So we're talking of moves. Jessica Myers is tucked right up onto the back of Newell. I think that's McGarrity just coming out of the pits there. They're going to clear him fine. As we see Myers. Could she do? Oh, Newell just getting a bit out wide onto the dirt there. This is going to allow Myers surely through. I don't think Newell's going to be able to cover it off. No. Myers is going to cut across and shut the door on Newell. And that has got her up into 6th place. Now, while Newell is vulnerable, Flarton and Boll are going to look to try and capitalise. Newell just taking the defensive line, just trying to desperately cut off the attack from Flarton, trying to kill off any momentum that the Scandinavian driver has got. But can this give Jan Boll a move? Oh no, as Newell runs wide there. And this is going to get really close coming through the O'Brien dogleg. And the run down to Recaro, and they all try and head their way through. And Newell, in the space of one corner, is going to lose 2 places. And Newell heading down the order. Or is it not quite over yet? As we see the 2 Impulse Racing drivers alongside there. But let's just head further down the field. Neil Stevenson on a recovery drive for Ignium Motorsports Park. He's got Nick Kent, one of the independents in the championship, ahead of him. Stevenson needs to get a bit of a wiggle on should he wish to close up to the back of Seal, who's ahead of him, but heading out front. Johnson and Hagen have managed to work together and pull themselves through. I was going to say to close up onto the back of Fraser Geraghty, but there goes Johns. He's through. And can Hagen follow through? They bang doors as they head across the sweeping chicane, and there is the move done, and Myers capitalises as well. As, oh no, Geraghty just onto the inside, losing the car on the entrance to the corner. And that has allowed Hagen to get through. So yeah, Flarton to get through as well. As Jack Johns now takes a place provisionally on the podium with 8 minutes left to go here in race 2. However, we've seen the speed of Hagen. We've seen the battles that himself and Johns have had. Get a feeling with just over 7 minutes left to go here in race 2. But this is not over, and these 2 will probably trade places. Don't discredit Myers just behind them as we head further down the field. The battle, 13th place, Jones at the front of them, but Denyer just trying to get the move done there past Peter Jones. Denyer on a bit of a recovery drive himself. He's up into 13th. And Birch is his next driver. He will be attacking. Let's see, Fraser Geraghty. He's got Sert and Gilman behind. And Gilman is a strong, consistent finisher in this championship. He certainly won't be happy with 10th, but Sert trying to assert dominance. And he can see Mould, his championship rival, out in 1st place. Desperately trying to get his way past. Gilman and McCabe not too far behind. Fraser Geraghty needs to be a little bit careful here, picking his defensive lines. As no, there's contact. It's contact in assert as they all spread across the track and somehow just manage to get through. But assert, there's more contact there. Fraser McGarrity takes another hit to the door yet again. For the 2nd corner in the row, gets bumped out the way. And assert, he's dropped a couple of places. That's allowed Gilman and McCabe through. But out in front. This battle for the last place on the podium. Hagen closing right up to the back of Johns, absolutely harassing the gearbox of the Brit. But with Hagen and Myers right behind, and also Flarton, we could be in for an absolute grandstand finish here to race 2 as these drivers fight it all out. 5 of them trying to, oh dear, as Flarton just getting into the back of Myers there a little bit. And this is going to be a 5-car battle for that last place on the podium. Last chance to get a bit of honours as Myers trying to give a bit of a bump draft there to Hagen through the corner. See, taking a bit of damage, but look, it's just going to allow Flarton to come alongside as we look back from Hagen. Flarton, his fellow Scandinavian, just manages to squeeze past Myers. What can Jan Bol do? Seems to be happy to sit at the back of this train, potentially to all kick off in front of him. Jack Johns will be happy to see these guys battling behind, but with the 2 Luminous Racing drivers behind, they'll be working together to somehow find a way past Johns and snatch that last place on the podium. Fraser Geraghty really struggling. It's Birch getting ahead of him. Denyer and Jones right behind. As you see Assert just moving up a place past Gilman there. The Impulse Racing drivers working together, as we saw in race 1, to really help Assert, because they can see the Mould is heading off into the distance. 7 seconds clear in the lead. The top 10 right now is Mould, followed by Dunn. Johns still holding on to that last place on the podium with Hagen, Flarton, Myers, Ball, Assert, Gilman and McCabe rounding out your top 10 here in race 2 at Oran Park. Talking of that last place on the podium, closing up onto the back of Johns. What can Hagen do? Could it be one of the other drivers, potentially Flarton, Myers or Bol, that get involved? We've seen so much action down into turn 2, Coca-Cola Corner. Could we see another twist to the story here? See Christopher Smith there. Of big groups of cars all battling out so closely. Such is the competitive nature of this championship. As we look back from Jones, Smith behind us, who heads to the inside. Can Smith get a move done? Just has to take evasive action, throwing out the anchor there to avoid hitting into the back of Jones. But they could have come side by side where Jones got unsettled, looking in his mirrors. Can Smith get his move done? He's going to have to work it out round the outside through Shell. You get the feeling that Jones is just going to hold on to this one. But what can Malcolm do? Can he look to just snatch a place off of Smith? The answer is no for now. This group that are battling for third, they've got Johnson ahead, 3 seconds up the road. The back Marquez. We're coming round to lap. You can see him ahead on the track right now. Could that play another part in who manages to keep, in Jack John's case, his last place on the podium? But here comes Hagen, looking more and more aggressive as the laps go on. We've got around about a minute and a half left to go here in race 2. As Johns is coming under maximum pressure now, having to put on an absolute defensive masterclass, and just needs to hold on for another minute or so. You can have another lap after this that Johns is going to have to defend for. As you can see, Hagen just prodding and poking at the gearbox of Johns, trying to find a way past, just probing in the back of him. As we see Jones there, just trying to get that place back off of Smith. They need to be careful of Malcolm Sabula behind. Sabula, well, down by his own standings in 17th place. So coming round across the O'Brien Aluminium dog leg for another time. But Jack Johns, you can see that everyone flashing the lights at him behind. That was Flarton just pulling out, just doing anything to distract Johns. He's managed to get it through Coca-Cola Corner. But the run down to Shell, can he hold on here? We've seen a few overtakes done on the run down here. He goes defensive to the inside, just trying to cover her off. Hagen then slow it up on the apex to prevent Hagen from getting any momentum exiting the corner. And this is going to be an absolutely epic drive if Johns can hold on to this. He's got Hagen, Flarton, Boll and Myers all right behind him. He's just dropped a little bit back, but what can Johns do? So he's only got a couple of corners to left, but what a drive from Mould. Some might say he got a bit lucky avoiding the action, but he had to be in the right place at the right time. On lap 1, Mould takes the victory. Shane Dunn's going to come home in second. 9 seconds behind Mould. And then Johns has somehow, he's managed to hold on to it. Surely the driver of the day for that defensive masterclass for Jack Johns to take that last place on the podium. Hagen, Flarton and Boll come across the line with Myers 7th, Assert in 8th. A good result for him. And Fraser Geraghty in that bruised and battered Audi RS3. He's definitely going to feel aggrieved to not finish higher. And there you go, your Class 5 results are down. Mould taking the victory here in race 2. Finishing nearly 10 seconds clear of second place. Dunn. Jack Johns holding on to third for Pulse Esports. Hagen finishing 4th with the teammate for Luminescence Racing. Flarton behind in 5th. Boll, Myers, Assert, Gilman and McCabe running out your top 10. It's followed by Birch, Bendenia, Geraghty, Smith, Jones, Malcolm, Tabula, Crowther, Seal and Neil rounding out your top 20. It was Kent Thornton, Neil Stevenson losing it so early on. It's going to be gutted with that 23rd with Martin, Johnson, McGarrity, Cotton and Nems rounding out all the way down to 28th place. Obviously Nems retiring the car, finishing 12 laps down here in race 2. And wow, I think maybe time to take a little bit of a breather because that was some crazy racing, and let's see what it's done to the championship standings while Flarton holds on to first place. Mould just closing up that gap ever so slightly in second. Assert holding on to third place with Gilman moving up a place into 4th. Shane Dunn demoted to 5th. Jack Johns profiting from that 3rd place up into 6th with Smith, Denya, McCabe and Kent rounding out your top 10. Birch, Crowther, Malcolm, Neil, Seal, Jones, Holland and Smith really tight from this point onwards with McGarrity, Butler rounding out the top 20. Then Simons, Neil Stevenson, maybe driving a little bit disappointed by 22nd in this championship. Hagen up 10 places into 23rd. Only Damon Harris only 1 point behind for Fiercely Forward. Walters, Hewitt, Myers, the driver who missed the first round and just recovering, playing catch up a bit with Ems, Cotton, Epigan rounding out your top 30. Wow. What some absolutely epic racing, filled full of drama. All happened down into Coca-Cola. You can see Luminous Racing aided by that, up 2 places in the championship. It's still Impulse Racing out in front on 588. That commanding lead of 130 points that they've got. It's Ignium Motorsport. Them and Spud Race Motorsport are down a place each due to Luminous climbing up 2 places. It's Insignia Racing, Ignium Motorsport, Spark holding on to 6th. Team Ord. Simply Digital Racing in 8th. What's Esports at their 9th. Then it's Fiercely Forward up 5 places. 221 points, rounding out the top 10. Track Obsession, Team Mads Immortal, they're up 2 places. British Sim Racers holding on to 13th. Marshmallow Racing really losing out, and likewise with Full Send, they're both down 5 places into 15th and 16th respectively. And then a bit of a gap to SRL Simulation Racing Leagues. We've got Freddie Hewitt and BPR incredibly close behind them. Wow, how do we impact that one? Well, Shane Dunn got his first podium of the season. Flarton, 3 wins for the season, all coming from pole positions. And so back in round 1, Massert's managed to get his pole and convert it to a win as well. So clearly, position very key to race 1 here in the championship. So congratulations to Flarton and Mould on their victories tonight. But driver of the day is surely got to go to Jack Johns. 6th in the first race, and the second race, putting on yet another defensive masterclass to bring the car home 3rd, and his first time on the podium in this championship. Well, as we head in 2 weeks' time to Oran Park, from myself and Shane here at VBTCR, it's thank you very much and goodbye.